Hello everybody, happy 12/14/22 to you. Woke Wednesday, I'm so sick of Fatphobia, so I'm really gonna pound into it again today. But of course, there's nothing wrong with starting with a theme song.
Fat, 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 fat. Hey, big belly, you should be proud. It don't matter if one is a crowd. Take the big belly, Finn is out, and now big belly is in. Go! Fat, 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 fat. Fat, 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 fat. I like to eat whatever I feel like at any given time. I don't care if it makes me look like I belong in gravity. Fat, 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 fat.
Okay, welcome back everybody. So let's get into the issues of today. First thing I want to mention is Hollywood is part of the problem when it comes to fatphobia. Everyone assumes that Hollywood is woke. Whenever the Oscars happen, they always say these woke things, and people congratulate themselves for being so woke at the Oscars. But how can they be woke if Hollywood is perpetuating this problem of fatphobia? Have you ever seen the people who win Oscars? Most of them are slender. Have you seen all the movies that are popular? They mostly slender people again. Jack Black, the most important actor in Hollywood for his role in Kung Fu Panda, never won an Oscar. He was nominated for Golden Globes, but he never won an Oscar. And that's a huge shame. Clearly the only reason he never won an Oscar is because of fatphobia. Why didn't Kung Fu Panda get an Oscar? That movie promotes fat, like big belliedness, like hardcore. It shows that just because you have a big belly, it doesn't mean you can't be the chosen one. It doesn't mean you can't be the guy who's the greatest of all. There's only one thing in all of Kung Fu Panda I did not appreciate. When he was being trained by Shifu, and Shifu was being a monster by preventing him from eating dumplings. In the end, after all the training, and he finally, when Po finally got the dumpling, he said, "I'm not hungry." There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to be ashamed about when it comes to eating as much as you possibly can. Long story short, Kung Fu Panda was overall a great movie because it addresses the issue of fatphobia. So another movie that was actually really, really good, but it had a bad ending, and it was WALL-E, because it showed a utopia in the future when everybody is big and just not having to really do anything. But there's two problems with the movie though. One is the ending, and the ending, a lot of them I believe came back to Earth, right? But they could have continued living the way they did. And another problem, it was supposed to be, from what I saw, it was a utopia. But I have a feeling that the makers were trying to make that movie ironic, and that living obese and having unlimited services was not a good thing. I feel like they were trying to imply that, but it would be a utopia. So we really should have a world. We should eventually get to a point in our time when we don't have to do anything, because that's the peak of human experience, is actually relaxing. And of course, eating as much as you possibly can. Okay, next genre. Disney princess movies. They are the absolute worst. With these movies, we're telling our daughters, not that I have a daughter, but we're telling our daughters that it is not okay to be fat because all the Disney princesses are thin. And they've gotten thinner. I mean, look at this picture of Snow White from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Look at her cheeks. Those are the chubbiest Disney princess cheeks that I've seen. I think those are the chubbiest Disney princess cheeks that there are. And that was the first Disney princess. So, Disney was woker back in the 1930s when it came out than they are now. Why did the Disney princesses progressively get thinner? That doesn't make any sense. Are we becoming more conservative or something? Imagine how much more money Disney would make if all their new princesses were overweight. Because since so many Americans are overweight, there will be a lot more young girls who can relate with them. So that's something that Disney should change, not only for the cause of wokeness, but also for their own money to be made. Okay, now let's go on to the next topic. Things that we can do to reduce fat phobia is one thing we can do is ban sweaty sports. Sports in general are just totally barbaric. It's too much competition. It's one person versus the other. Do we really need competition in this modern world? Maybe if the competition is not very stressful, that's okay. But when it comes to something physical like that, physical stress is not good for your mind at all. It's certainly not good for your tummy. It hurts your tummy quite a bit. So ban sweaty sports. Sports that are okay, but I still don't like because they're still kind of physical. Ping pong, you can do ping pong. There's a lot of moving around. Pool, billiard, pool, whatever you want to call it, is a slight improvement because it's more refined and there's a little bit less physical activity, but it's still yucky. Bowling is kind of okay. I mean, it doesn't take that much effort to roll a bowling ball, but I highly discourage you from bowling. But one thing that we can do is a lot more of is gaming sports. In fact, if we focus the Olympics more around gaming and even board games, that would be perfectly fine. It would be a huge improvement, and it would improve the world's perception of fat phobia. Next category, the labor market. Okay, so labor still requires a lot of physical performance, but we need to start denormalizing physical activity. In fact, we need more regulations that make it a lot more challenging to hire people for physical labor. I think by 2030, we can totally ban physical labor, period. We should currently triple the the federal tax rate, so that we can fund automation. Automation is the path forward. Automation will make it possible for the WALL-E utopia to come true. Now the last piece of woke advice I have sounds pretty revolutionary, but we need to make food free. We need to make food free by 2030. Just think about it. If we went to the United Nations and demanded that they triple the tax rate for everyone around the world, there'd be no reason why we couldn't have free food and end world hunger by 2030. To be honest, I should totally get the Nobel Peace Prize because I just figured out world hunger for everybody. In my personal opinion, world hunger is a lie. I think most people are just fatphobic, and I think that if we can overcome fatphobia, everyone is just going to start gaining weight. But at least if we move towards an economy that has free food, nobody's going to have any more excuses to be underweight. Okay, everyone, that's all I have for Woke Wednesday. Let me give you a big hawk thanks for watching.